Hello, my name is Shi. A brief background about myself. I did A levels in 2019 and took law as one of the subjects. And I've got the award of top in the world for AS law and top in Malaysia for A2. So here am I wishing to share some of my knowledge and also tips to all of you here who is taking A level law. Yeah, so this video is basically aiming on tackling your mindset and letting you understand more on how law exam really works instead of like the conventional study tips video. And just a disclaimer here is based on my personal opinion and knowledge. So yeah, take it at your own risk. Without further ado, I'll first explain the structure for this video. I'll tackling on 4 parts. Firstly, on what should you write. Secondly, on the cases. Thirdly, on how do you stand out from the others and get like better marks. And fourthly, about analysis of past year questions. So going on to the first one. Yeah, a problem we face is I faced in the past also, whether I'm thinking whether I'm doing the right thing, whether my notes is correct or not, because our lectures always state that the marking is highly dependent on your examiner, and each examiner have like different perspective on whether this essay is good or not, whether like it deserves a higher mark. So this is the point that you need to realize when you're doing A-level law. And so that means that the mark given by a lecturer might not reflect what you might got in a real exam, even you use the same piece of essay. And to tackle this, firstly you need to understand that there's no standard answer, there's no like correct structure, correct way of writing it, because different lecturers uses different notes, and actually different college across Malaysia uses different textbook as well. So can you imagine that like the structure would definitely be different, the content you are writing. And in fact, I did compare my notes with a note from the other college, and can you imagine that our similarity in terms of points is only like 50% similarity or less than that. So which means that you need not follow 100% of what the lecturer is teaching you, because it's like open-ended question. You can choose to omit a few points, add something on your own, and like to decide how your essay is going to look like. And the second thing is to ask your lecturer about their track record. This is not that you don't believe your lecturer, it's just that when you ask about it, you might get a clearer idea on you might be more confident in your lecturer if you know that he or she did produce like many A-star students, A students in the past. And in fact, I did the same. I asked like last sem when the exam result is out, how many got A for law, so that I know I can believe in this lecturer and he is more than qualified to like teach me. Yeah. And the second point is about cases, where when we first step into law school, I'm sure everyone has the same problem where we do not know exactly how to write cases. Like back then, when I first started, I write a paragraph for one case, and yeah, I didn't know like which cases to choose. So firstly, in terms of which case to choose, normally for one point I'll write about 2 cases normally lah. And secondly is the length, where you will only need to write like quite short. Normally I write 2 to 3 sentences for the facts. So the most important point is you need to have your case name and also the legal principle, which means that for the cases you write, not necessarily you have to include the facts. Yeah, so as I mentioned just now, when I'm writing 2 cases for the same point, I'll write one case with facts and one case just the legal principle. And the facts will only come into place will be more important when you're doing problem question, where the facts of the case is similar to the facts in the problem question, which means that when you saw like there's similarity, you know like which cases to apply. And at the application part, you can say, this situation happened in the problem question, the scenario is this, similarly in this case as well, this happens. So here's the legal principle of the case, that's why A should be liable for blah blah blah. Yeah, so the facts is important during application. And thirdly is try to explain the case in your own words instead of memorize it like word by word. So what I normally do is I understand the facts, I think it as a story, and during exam I just like recall back the story. It need not be necessarily like I know the sentence, I know the word of it. It's just that I remember the storyline and I tell it out by my own. Like this, the way of writing it can be different, but I think this is better because you understand it and the examiner can know whether you are memorizing it or you are explaining it on your own. So that is about cases. The third point is how to stand out from the others and get better marks. So for AS, it is much easier because it's mainly essay questions. And if you want to get a higher band, the most important thing is you need to have evaluation in your essay. So normally the lecturer will give advantage, disadvantage, and reform for a topic. And if you want to do better, you can be more critical about the advantage and disadvantage you're writing instead of just copying from the textbook. You Google online, search like some extra arguments to back up what you say, and elaborate a bit on the advantage and disadvantage. And the second thing you can do is to include the relevant situation, like the situation nowadays, like because some of our syllabus might be outdated, and also include the statistics. For instance, I remember during my real exam, I wrote about the Crown Prosecution Service, where one point is the rate of prosecution is low, and I include the statistics by the Home Secretary, which states that the rate of prosecution for rape, RAPE, is only 8% each year. And this is data to back up what the point that I mentioned earlier. So I think like this kind of additional information is helpful. Of course, you only need to include a bit, but not like overwhelming until it's more than what you're supposed to write, your main content. And I guess this is also the reason why I can get like 75 out of 75 for paper 1. And this is not every lecturer will. The lecturer won't tell you to do this. You need to take your own initiative and think of ways to make your essay to be more unique. And now we go to the last part, which is analysis. It's really helpful to do your analysis on the past year question so you can have a grasp on what questions are being asked, which topic, and normally how is the structure inside the topic, what are the common areas that the question normally touch on. So I did an analysis from 2012 until the year I took the exam, and I sort of analyzed, and also I can see the trend and also spot some question which I think is highly have higher chance to come up that year. But of course there's a risk when you're analyzing and spotting questions, but this can be a strategy for you as well to study smart instead of study hard, like putting in the same effort for all topics. So this is all about it, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach me like through Instagram. I'll put my username below. And if you need any help in A-level, I do have like revision class, especially for the October-November exam, which is coming out soon. And yeah, I'm more than happy to share my knowledge. Just drop me a DM. And I hope that this video benefit you all. Thank you so much. Bye.